Welcome to the IBEX Method podcast. I'm your host, Adam Foutz, and today we have Gary Frayter with us today. He's a former coach, athlete, and entrepreneur, and his main brand is I Believe in Me. Let's kind of kick it off, Gary. Tell us about yourself. How you doing today?
Great. I'm doing well. Thank you so much. So, first of all, it's a pleasure to be on here. Thank you for inviting me. So, do you want me to tell you a little bit about my story?
Yeah, let's tell us about tell us about your brand first, I guess, because I think that ties into your story, correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So, about how long has it been? It's been like 3 years since I started I Believe in Me. And I basically, what I wanted to do was create a clothing brand, or I wanted to create something. So I saw so many people wearing Nike, Adidas, all these other brands. And I felt like none of them were pushing that inspirational message. So many people were spending Nike and Adidas, they make billions of dollars every year. And so I thought, since those brands are successful, imagine how successful a brand that actually means something would be.
Yeah.
And so I came up with I Believe in Me pretty much after some of my lowest points in my life. And it all led me into the creation of I Believe in Me. And I was brainstorming ideas one day. And it kind of just hit me. I was like, believe. Okay, all right. And then it kind of just like panned out. It just worked out. And so that's kind of how I Believe in Me originated. So what we do is we sell. It's a men's clothing brand. So we do t-shirts, sweatpants. We got my own water bottle sticker right here.
Wow,
so
nice.
yeah. So but yeah, man. So and it took me 3 years to get the trademark agreement, right? So this trademark agreement, how trademarks work is you go to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Association, and then you apply for one. And if somebody else has it, you either have to buy them out somehow, or you have to choose another brand. And so for me, it took 3 years for me to get one. But eventually it happened. And so I'm just really grateful to be able to use it. And I Believe in Me kind of incorporates everybody, right? It incorporates people who are entrepreneurs. They incorporate MMA fighters, people with special needs, people suffering from mental health issues or anything like that.
Wow.
So I Believe in Me kind of incorporates everybody. And I started it when I was a trainer at a UFC gym. And so that's kind of how I Believe in Me started. And I was on that that's once I became a trainer at the UFC gym, it kind of sparked this motivation for me to just try to inspire everybody that I come across.
That's pretty awesome, man. I'm gonna actually pull up your stuff here. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So I'm on your Instagram page, your I Believe brand, I_believe_in_me_brand. Yeah, it's cool here. Just going through here, like you said, the inspirational stories. You can just see by the images. Everyone has their own story. You see the I Believe in Me brand across the chest.
Yeah, that was my goal, is to make it big like that, so that people know. And I think it's something special when people see that, and you see somebody wearing that, you're like, wow, that person carries himself with confidence. And even if you aren't feeling confident, I think when you put that shirt on, you put that piece of clothing on, it's a different animal. You feel good.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I have a lot of questions, obviously, based on the things you've been saying. The first thing is your main logo. You mentioned those trademark issues with that, but what made you come up with this crown idea?
With this crown, so it's basically like you're the king of your life. And with the women's brand, it will be the same way. You're the queen of your life, and ultimately, you're the CEO of your life. You make decisions that you feel are best. You make every day you make decisions, right? They can be big or small, but they have led you to this point right now where you are at in life. And so either you're happy or you feel unfulfilled. That's based off of the choices that you've made up until this point.
Wow.
And so that's how I feel. I feel like you're the king, and for women, you're the queen of your life, and nobody holds the keys. You do.
Man, I love that, man. There's a lot to untap just in those words alone. And before we get to that, so we kind of just talked about the I Believe in Me brand. We talked about the crown, what it means, and then tell me how that ties into your story, how you guys started, why you got started. Because now, as I got to know you more, you know, you're actually from Latvia, which I think is pretty cool. You moved to New York as a child, 3 years old, from my understanding. So tell me just tell me about all that, because I feel like that alone requires some type of mental adjustment and all that. So.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll start it off. So I was born in Latvia. It's a small country in Europe. I came here to the United States when I was 3. I moved to Port Chester, New York. I wouldn't speak a word of English. So, and by people, you know, people that talk to me now, they would never know, you know, that I speak Russian. So it's kind of funny. But so that happened. Then I ended up moving to Greenwich, Connecticut, where I pretty much have lived my whole life. And, you know, growing up, I was always the smallest kid. I didn't hit my growth spurt till like 19 or 18. I was, you know, I hit it later than everybody, but I got bigger eventually than most people did. But, you know, like it dealt with bullying, it dealt with just being the smallest kid, you know, the kids are ruthless. And so, I don't know. So that kind of sparked the creation of I Believe in Me, because I know what it's like to kind of be that person that is kind of just like pushed to the side. Do you know what I mean? And so I think, and I know what it's like to not be a winner, you know? And so I wanted to show people, you know, being like, you know, people look at my Instagram now and they see like, you know, you've got muscles, you've got all, you know, you look good, and, you know, I'm happy about it. You know, I feel good about it. I accomplished that. But at the same time, people don't know my story, you know, so they may see a picture and they're like, oh, this kid, this guy is really self-centered, but yet they don't know that me being small my whole life, you know, you dealt with insecurities growing up that you want to, that now, luckily, you know, thank God I don't have to deal with anymore. I don't have to battle those insecurities, you know, about being the smallest guy, wondering if girls like you, getting treated differently from other people, you know, because they feel they can take advantage of you. So everything kind of led me to this moment, you know, starting I Believe in Me, following my dreams, honestly, just not even I Believe in Me, but just being this person that I am right now. You know, there was times where I didn't want to go through that. You know, I didn't want to go through being bullied. I didn't want to go through being the smallest kid, but eventually, now looking back at it, I realized that it's led me to this moment, and it's allowed me to become the person I am. You know, I treat people with respect because that's how I want to be treated. You know, who knows how I would treat people if maybe I didn't go through that. So it's everything in life is a lesson, and so I'm grateful for the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
Yeah, that's incredible, man, and it speaks a lot to who you are. I mean, even us. I mean, I started following you, I think, about a year ago. 2019 is when I got on Instagram, started documenting my journey, started learning about new people, learning how the Instagram worked. But I came across your page and just loved everything that you were doing. But now having the opportunity to speak with you and seeing where your heart and your mind is, I think is incredible. And you just kind of give that aura of that positive message. So I always want to give you kudos for that. So again, a lot to unpack. So obviously you have this I just feel like you have this very positive energy. You know, like you mentioned, right? You can see a picture on Instagram and be like, oh, there's no way that guy's insecure, or that guy ever dealt with that. Or, you know, you don't really know somebody until you have conversations like this. And my question now becomes, knowing all that you went through, I mean, you had to adjust coming to a new country. You know, listen to your story. You talked about like trying to make friends, and you're speaking Russian and you're upset because, you know, as a kid, you're like, I don't understand. They're not speaking Russian. They don't understand me, you know? So, how do you got into training, you got into this stuff. So it sounds like there's a huge mindset component to everything that you are today. How did you overcome those obstacles to create, you know, the Gary that's in front of us today?
Dude, I mean, to be honest, I had to go through the lowest of lows, you know, like there was a point where I mentioned in that video, you know, for those that don't know what we're talking about, anybody that's listening now, there's a video on my Instagram where I actually just detail my story and, you know, talk about the highest of highs and some of the lowest of lows that I've experienced. And so those lowest of lows were just like, you know, doubt, being lost in life, just being like first time I dealt with like being depressed at all, you know, like I'm not somebody that suffers from depression. But this was the one time, you know, I'm not gonna say one time, but this was a big moment where I got hit and I just, felt lost in my life. And I went through that year-long depression where I was just, down in the dumps. I wasn't working out. I was just confused with my life. I was lost. And then I dug myself deep, then I just had a conversation with myself one day and just said, it's not going to end like this.
Wow.
Like we're going to, we're going to make sure that we're going to come out of this on top and we're going to figure everything out. And so that's when I became certified in personal training. That's when I started working out. I got in the best shape of my life. I had a girlfriend at the time who was amazing and really was such a positive person in my life who motivated me and kept me focused. I stopped drinking. I haven't drank in 3 years. Not a sip of alcohol, not a sip of coffee. So coffee just made me jittery. It's not like it was a bad thing, but just the alcohol. Just the alcohol. I stopped partying, stopped doing any of that kind of stuff, and just really focused on. I started reading books on financial freedom, on work, fitness, all that kind of stuff, and so that's the person that stands in front of you today that pulled himself out of that rut that he never thought he was going to get out of.
Wow. That's a lot. Again, it's a lot. I mean, you said you took on, like, you were kind of at your lowest point. You decided, hey, I'm going to fight this. You decided to become a personal trainer, get into fitness. How do you feel that, in your own words, I guess, how do you feel fitness kind of helped with your mental state and your overall well-being?
Yeah. No, man, fitness is great because I think that fitness and the mental state go hand in hand. Somebody that's really strong mentally, 9 times out of 10, they work out regularly. I think it's just doing something that's difficult. I think that's pushing your body to limits, whether that's, limits that you never thought you could surpass, or just the consistency, those limits of just like, I used to work out 1 day a week and now it's like, boom, now I work out consistently every day. Those are limits, in their own right. And so honestly, they just go hand in hand. And fitness, I think that, but also, I mean, so there's 2 things here, right? So for somebody that works out a lot, you can still be mentally feel like shit, right? But just the idea behind it is that if you push your body, you're basically callousing your mind as well, because you're pushing yourself, your boundaries, you're battling those demons, and you're really showing up every day and just clocking in. And every day, little by little, you're going to get to where you want to be. And I think part of the biggest thing about confidence and just feeling good about yourself is setting promises to yourself. Like, hey, once you set a promise to yourself, I'm not going to eat bad food anymore. I'm going to work out daily. There's something special about that because you're setting that promise to yourself and you're following through with it. I think a lot of people struggle when they set these massive expectations for themselves and go 0 to 100, and when they don't follow through with it, they end up feeling like shit. And so that's the idea behind that, is that you set those promises for yourself and you hit those goals. But so I do think they go hand in hand.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And I love that too. I mean, I think you kind of hit on it too, right? It's incremental. It's just making that decision day in and day out that I'm going to do it. And, for somebody just getting started or, kind of on the fence of like, hey, I want to start my fitness journey, or, I want to build my mind. And again, they're just on the fence. What words would you say to encourage them to kind of get over that hump, get on the other side of the fence and just keep going?
No, I love that. And so, I mean, the thing is, there's so much information out there nowadays. When I was in high school, I mean, I'm still young. I'm 24, but when I was in high school, graduated 2014, Instagram wasn't that big. Like now, every other person is a fitness model, and so you have so many workouts, that you can just follow from other people, and so honestly, in terms of just like how to do technique properly, how to work out properly, how many times, there's so many people that you can ask. You could DM people with just honestly a few hundred followers, and they will get back to you, and they know their stuff just as much as people that have thousands and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers, And so like the help is out there. But in terms of just getting like motivated just with yourself, I think, I just think you have to have a conversation with yourself and be like, what kind of person am I building? Because at the end of the day, life is you want to enjoy life, but at the same time, you want to be building that person who you can be proud of. You have to look at the bigger picture of just like, this is where I am now, and then this is who I want to be. And what are the steps to get there? And I think that you have to hold yourself accountable. And motivation is not going to come every day, but discipline is really what's going to get you there. And so for me, that's really important. Just staying disciplined and just seeing the bigger picture, man. That's it.
Yeah. No, I love it. Discipline, consistency. It's all good. It's all good stuff, man.
Man. And also surrounding yourself with good people too.
Yeah.
Like that's the big one. If people have friends that, for example, smoke, drink, or just like don't motivate them, or when you tell your friends about your dreams, they kind of just like brush it to the side, like, oh, you can't do that, or something like that. Like those are people that you can't have around you. And so I think it's kind of just like it's a factor of things, but it all starts with you. It all starts with you making that decision of, this is not how it's going to end.
I love it, man. It's a common theme this year and this season. It seems like, again, the decision being a main thing, just deciding, hey, I'm not going to live this life anymore. This isn't who I want to be. And then to me, I feel like it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you just do something every single day, like you mentioned, right? Like just be disciplined, be consistent in it. I do a lot of running, and there's a thing I do once a week. It's a tempo run, and it's like 80% effort for 20 minutes. And, it's your body's going to perform differently every week. So depending on what you ate, depending on, how many miles you did that week. So that 80% effort may be 3 miles. It may be, 2.5, it may be 2 miles, but that's just what your body is able to do for that day. So what I'm trying to say is, like, just be consistent in the workouts, be consistent in the effort, and regardless, your body's going to perform, and regardless of how it performs, just know you're making gradual steps, towards your future, so it's kind of my takeaway. Yeah.
No, yeah. And to your point, you don't have to kill your body. People think that like you have to be sore every workout and this and that. Like at the end of the day, it's just about consistency. Like if you don't want to go to the gym, but you end up doing 5 minutes on the treadmill, that's still 5 minutes that you would have done more than just not going. Obviously 5 minutes isn't the best, but however, that still programs your mind to be like, yo, we can do this. And so you just keep going at it, and you keep going. Next day you do 10 minutes, and then after that, it just takes off. And so it's less about the physical, more about mentally being like, I can do this.
I love that, man. So I have a lot of things I want to say about myself, just based on everything you're saying, but I want to focus in on you. So the mental piece. So you mentioned books and stuff. I noticed when I was at the gym, what I would do, like there'd be days I'd be dragging. I did a physique competition 2 years ago.
Oh, you did? That's awesome.
No, it was cool, man. It's a cool experience. But the preparation for it, there's days where I was dragging, and but what I ended up doing is like putting on a motivational speaker and just kind of like programmed and heard the things that my body needed to hear, things that I believed in, regardless of how I felt. And then I started reading different things. So getting into that for you, it's kind of on the spot question. Do you have any recommendations for books or things that you listen to?
Yeah, for sure. So, I listen to a lot of, I don't know, actually, to be honest, I listen to music. Actually, when I work out, I don't listen to any music.
Okay.
That sounds kind of crazy, but
it
before
sense.
I go to the gym, I listen to music, I listen to podcasts. So I put on today, like I was feeling like I just wanted to start Monday hard. And so I put on this guy, Earl Thomas, if you ever heard of him. It's how bad, like if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, if you've ever heard that motivation stuff. Dude, that's what I put him on. I put some country music, gets me going. But yeah, that's that. But when I work out, a lot of times I don't put on any music because I kind of I want that. it's like some David Goggins stuff, but I want that quit to come in and be like, you could stop now. And I just want to pass through it without any distractions.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, it's funny. I did a workout with today's Sunday, so I did it on Saturday. But on my way to the track, I listened to "Lose Yourself" by Eminem.
Oh
So
yeah, dude. Yeah, that would get me hyped. But in terms of books and stuff, I mean, a lot of the books that I would read were like Jocko Willink. He's
oh yeah,
if you
yeah,
know him, yeah, he's dope. He's really cool. And so guys like that, I like
yeah,
Jocko. I like people that like go get after it, you know. And because
yeah.
I'm the same way. Like when I was at the gym and stuff, when I was like you know, now at my current job, I work like 10 to 12-hour days.
Okay.
Um, and so, but that's like such like to your point about like excuses and stuff like that. I think you made a point about that. Like I could make an excuse and be like, you know what, I'm working so often, like
Mhm.
I can't work out, you know, but what I do is I wake up at 5 a.m. to work out, you know, because that's what it takes, you know, like I'll
Yeah.
wake up at 4 a.m. if I have to, you know, so I like sleep, but I like to feel better in my body. I like to feel good mentally, and it's important for me to get those workouts in.
Man, I love that too. It just kind of hits on another point of just you make time for what you find valuable. So
Yeah, 100% in relationships, in fitness, and everything. You know, if when it comes to relationships, if you're meeting somebody new and they don't give you the time of day, that's because they don't want to give you that time of day.
yeah,
If when it comes to if you see somebody who makes excuses about not getting to the gym, it's because they don't want to get to the gym, and it's just something that they don't want to do. But I think it's about being honest in that conversation and being like, you know what, I think I'm just making a lot of excuses, you know,
yeah,
and I think it's about calling yourself out a little bit on that. But ultimately, like you said, we make time for the things that we want. You know, people, I don't know anybody that said like, oh, I don't have enough time for Netflix or all that kind of stuff because your everyday people, because they make time to watch Netflix, they make time to watch their favorite shows. But at the end of the day, it's about getting it, you know, it's about improving little by little. It's about improving,
yeah, yeah. And it got
but
to be,
also finding time to relax too.
yeah,
And sorry to interrupt, but yeah,
very
that's
good.
kind of for me. A big thing is finding time to relax. I'm so on the go that
Hmm.
sometimes my biggest issue is pulling myself back and just being like, all right, now it's time to chill. Now it's time to relax. Because if it was up to me, I would just keep going and doing things. You know, with I Believe in Me, it's like I had a podcast, clothing brand, work full time, work out all the time. So it's just like, and I don't watch Netflix, I don't watch movies or something
Hmm.
like that, stuff like that. And I felt like it was kind of taking a toll a little bit on me in terms of just overworking and just getting burnt out. So then I learned to take it back, and I'm still learning. It's an active process for me to give my body and my mind time to relax.
Yeah, I love that, man. I found I told somebody the other day, just it was in regards to something else, but I'm like, there's grace in the pace, like just you don't have to go hard all the time. Just put in a little bit of effort. Like what I had to do, I'm the same way. So what I had to do was I had to build into my workout routine that like one day would be just straight up rest day, not even active rest, just straight up rest because I want to keep going to the point to it's my own detriment, and what was cool about it though is it forced my body to rest, and then I was excited for that next day when my workout started picking up again. So yeah, I understand that a lot, man. It's good.
Yeah, no, and then the quality of the work is so much better too, right? Because you're actually enjoying it. You're in the moment. You're not just trying to get it over with.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and going back to your point of making time too, I was in priorities. The thought that came to mind is there's a guy I'm connected with. He's a fitness guy from Dubai, but he posted he said people will spend on average 3 years of their life on social media, and I thought about that, and I'm like, what am I doing on social media that I'm willing to sacrifice? If I'm going to live to be 99, I'm willing to sacrifice 3 of those years. So you better make it count. And if you could find 3 years to be on social media, think about what you could do at that time. So
Exactly. No,
yeah,
100%. 100%.
yeah, man, it's been great. I'm actually going to pull up your personal Instagram, but while we do that, any other things you want to comment on? I do want to talk about where you're headed and things like that, but anything else for the audience that comes to mind?
I mean, just honestly, my only message is that life is short and you have to just enjoy the whole process. I mean, don't be too hard on yourself. Know how to take pressure off of yourself. Relax. Life is good. And at the end of the day, you don't own all the world's problems. And so that'll help you mentally just to put less pressure on yourself, but at the same time, hold yourself accountable to the life that you want to live. Stay consistent. If you don't know everything, I mean, nobody knows everything, but learn how to work out, learn how to take care of your body, because at the end of the day, it's important. And yeah, so those are the few things that I would touch on that I think are super important.
Man, I love that. You're just you're a wealth of knowledge, man. I love it. Yeah, so I got your page pulled up right here. But yeah, G Fraytes. It's GFRAYTES. I love it, man. So it says it on your profile here. So you talked about earlier setting your mind to something, knowing where you want to be. I saw your comments and messages about your vision board and wanting to be in LA. So you came from Latvia, New York, down to Connecticut. You had a vision to go to LA. Let's talk about that. Where are you headed? What do you plan on doing?
Yeah, man. So what I do now is back in 2000. So I'm big on visualization. I'm big on meditation, spirituality, all that kind of stuff, to be honest. Since I've kind of gotten this new frame of mind, that's really important for me, is to meditate, visualize the life that I want, whether that's your body goals, whether that's basically anything. Just visualize the person that you want to become, where you want to go. And that's what I did. And I put on my vision board. On my vision board, I have like big houses. I have I Believe in Me up there with like this big building. And I have a picture of LA, because that's something that I've always wanted to do is move to LA. I don't know why that is. Ever since I was, I don't know, maybe like in high school, maybe like 13, 14, I don't know how old you're in high school, 14, 15. So I've always wanted to move to LA. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the warm weather. Maybe it's because all the stars are out there. I'm a big MMA fan. So all the MMA fighters were out there at one point. But so that's kind of what prompted me to always want to move there. And I put on my vision board in 2020, in the beginning of 2020, before the pandemic, before everything. I put a picture of LA, and now, I've recently accepted a job, like 3 months ago, where I work on some big brands with like Mike Tyson and with some other guys. And so, but yeah, so now I'm going to be moving out to LA, and I was kind of in the I'm still in the transition now. My room is a mess back here, but, it's exciting. It's exciting. And it just kind of goes to show that, one of my favorite quotes from Conor Mcgregor, he's somebody that I really love and admire. And, one of the biggest inspirations that I have since the start, since 2013 when he came into the UFC. He says, if you can see it here, and he points to his mind, and you have the courage enough to speak it, then it will happen. And so that's kind of like the way I talk sometimes is I talk like things have already happened, because I want to speak it into existence. And when you have the courage, I think too many people shy away from speaking things into existence because they're afraid of it might not happening, them looking foolish, stuff like that, So anybody could have walked into my room and be like, oh, why do you have a picture of LA up there? I mean, you're not even there. You've never even been there. Why are you like, what are you even dreaming about? But now look at it this way, I'm going to be moving there, and I put that on my vision board. And when I put it on there, I had no plans of going.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm big into that kind of stuff. I think that you have to visualize a lot of these things first, and it'll happen, but take steps every single day to get there.
Yeah. I love that, man. Yeah. Again, you're kind of just taking me back, and, so I have Crohn's disease, and, I kind of always share my story, but 5 years ago, I had trouble walking because of my treatment. One day I had my treatment. It was the worst. I'm like, this is the worst I'm ever going to feel. Let me do something. I did a modified push-up, and I was done, But like you said, right, like 5 minutes on the treadmill. Okay, maybe it's 10 next time. So then it became like, well, it's the next day. Let me do 2. It kind of just kept building up. And then get my leg strength back, I started like holding the rail, going up the stairs, you know, and I'd go up there, do a modified push-up. Yeah, come back down, and just proving to my mind and my body that I could do this, you know. But
how does it affect you to this day? Do you still feel it?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird because the treatment that I'm on, that's like became like the new thing I had to combat, where it's like a lot of those symptoms were very similar to Crohn's disease, you know. So I don't know, man, it's wild. But yeah, I still deal with like mental fog sometimes, and fatigue and joint pain and stuff. So I spend a lot of the time just doing joint warm-ups before I even run and stuff, you know, just to get them loose and moving. But I noticed, you know, there's days where if I stop moving, maybe for 2 days in a row, is when I start locking up again and start feeling sluggish.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, I'm like, I gotta keep moving. That's kind of my message. Just keep moving, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, what's amazing is that I had this idea. I want to be in what's called the Marine Corps trials, or the DoD Warrior Games, where it's for wounded, ill, and injured service members and veterans. And when I got out of the Marine Corps, it wasn't offered to veterans, but I worked in the office that like helped service members transition medically, and got to learn about the program. So I got on an email list, and like 3 years later, at this point, I'm running again. And I get an email that says, "Hey, we're opening this up to veterans. Just go ahead and put your application in." And at the time, it was just, I got the email late. I was late on it or whatever. But then I was like, let me just, like, I'm running now. The only thing I could do better is get more speed and strength. So I reached out to a friend who's a physical trainer. He's done a physique competition. So I said, I have Crohn's disease. Let's just, if we can do this and make this work, like, it's just something we can do with people with my condition. And I was like, just give me however many, you know, give me your program. I'll buy it. You'll be my trainer. You know, I'll dedicate myself to it. I had no intention to being a physique competitor, but by the end of like, I put in my head, like, hey, I'll at least go on stage to like, show me overcoming Crohn's disease, you know? So 90 days, I finished the program. The day I decided to do it, I got an email to be part of the Invictus Games, which is an international competition of service members and veterans. That weekend, I signed up for a track event. I almost pulled my hamstring, so I didn't have any times to submit for my application. But I'm still like lifting and I'm rowing, you know, I'm doing all this stuff. I finished the 90 days. I do my competition, and that Sunday, I take 5th place in my competition, which is pretty cool. I think top 5 place. So I took 5th place in novice, which I guess is unheard of, you know. And then that weekend, I get another email that says, "Hey, the Marine Corps trials are here. You know, like, go ahead and apply if you want to do it." Did a time trial, ran my fastest 1,500 meter in years, and all based on the training I was doing with my friend. And then going into 2020, I ended up running at the Marine Corps trials and winning the mile race that I trained for. So,
wow.
But I had visualized this for 5 years. And like you said, right, it's like the moment you speak it and like pursue it without like any, like, I kind of put it behind me, kind of like what you said, right? Like, I put it on the vision board, I kind of left it alone. But at the same time, like, I think subconsciously it's already there, you know, and everything I was doing was like building towards being a better version of myself. And then the opportunity came, and I was ready, you know. And that's kind of a thing I tell people now too, is like, you never not want to be ready for the opportunity that you've been waiting for, you know. And yeah, so I can relate 100% to that. And
dude, thank you so much for your service too. I appreciate that.
No, thank you
very much.
Thank you. So you never been to LA?
Never been to LA.
Nice, man.
But yeah. No, never been. So it's kind of just interesting how I'm just taking a journey and just running with it, you know?
Yeah.
I made sure to bring all my weights. That's the one thing that I did. I made sure to pack all my weights in my car.
That's awesome. Well, Gary, I'm going to pull up your stuff one more time. I'm going to speak on that. And then, you know, the one thing I want to say too is, you know, you mentioned, so I got Gary Frayter up here at GFreights on Instagram. And then you can find him at I Believe in Me brand on Instagram as well. Yeah, the one thing I just want to say, you know, you mentioned your room being a mess and stuff. I know even coming on here took a lot of intentionality and time, and I appreciate your willingness to have this conversation in the middle of your big move.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And last question, when do you head out to LA? When's that?
So I head out next week. So Saturday I fly in. Yeah. Saturday I fly in. It's crazy. I have no friends there. No, I don't know anybody. So it's really a big move for me to just follow my dreams and just run with it.
Nice, man. Well, I know some people out there, so maybe I could get you connected. I mean, just everyday people, nothing like
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But
yeah, thank you so much for speaking to me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Gary, I appreciate you again taking the time to come on here. We're going to wrap up. But again, look up Gary Frayter on Instagram. Look at I Believe in Me. Buy a T-shirt. We'll follow your journey to LA, man. I'm excited for you. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.